Hey guys, today we're diving into a topic that is crucial for many couples considering marriage: prenuptial agreements. Specifically, we'll be looking at the top 5 most important clauses you should include in your prenup. Now, prenuptial agreements often get a bad reputation, but in reality, they are a practical tool for setting expectations and protecting both parties. A frequently asked question is whether prenuptial agreements are recognized in Singapore. The answer is yes, because agreements between parties with respect to the ownership and division of matrimonial assets made in contemplation of divorce are one of the factors amongst the 8 set out in Section 112 of the Women's Charter. This was confirmed in the Singapore High Court case of TQ and TR. Let's discuss the first and arguably the most important clause in the prenup, the waiver of rights clause. Each party should ideally renounce and waive any and all rights against the assets of the other party in whichever country such assets may be held, and whether those assets were acquired before or during the marriage. This is essentially saying, I give up my right to go after your assets. The second most important clause is the separation of assets clause. This would state that even after marriage, each party will each retain all rights and obligations over their respective personal assets. This should also state that all obligations, liabilities, and debts of each party will be entirely separate. The third most important clause is the division of matrimonial assets clause. This clause outlines how assets will be divided in the event of a divorce. Whether it's property, savings, or investments, it is critical to decide how these will be split beforehand. In Singapore, the court has the discretion to divide matrimonial assets based on fairness, but a prenuptial agreement can strongly influence the court's decision. It is important to clearly define what constitutes matrimonial and non-matrimonial assets to avoid future disputes. The prenup should also have a section dealing with jointly acquired assets, i.e., assets bought in both parties' names, and how to deal with them in the event of a divorce. For example, it could state that jointly held assets will be sold and split 50-50, 50%, 50%, or in accordance with the parties' financial contributions to those joint assets. There should ideally be a separate section on personal assets acquired by a party in his or her own single name after the marriage, which I shall call single name assets. Usually, my clients want the prenup to state that both parties get to keep their single name personal assets. Sometimes though, some couples want to insert a mechanism in the prenup so that if one partner cheats or commits adultery, he has to surrender a certain percentage of his personal assets acquired after the marriage. It is entirely up to you whether you want to have the sword of Damocles in your prenup. Next up is the maintenance clause. This clause deals with financial support after the marriage ends. In Singapore, only women have a right to alimony or maintenance in a divorce because the Women's Charter was drafted to protect women. Men do not have a right to maintenance except in the rarest of the rare situations. There are various permutations to the maintenance clause. A wife can waive her right to maintenance, which is essentially stating in the prenup that she doesn't need any maintenance or alimony. Alternatively, the couple can specify a dollar amount. For example, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, or the prenup could also state a percentage of the husband's monthly salary. For example, 10%, 20%, 30% of the husband's monthly salary. The maintenance clause should also specify the duration, whether it's for 5 years, until she dies, or until the wife remarries. By setting this expectation upfront, both parties can enter the marriage with a clear understanding of their financial obligations in the event the relationship breaks down. The last clause is the debt responsibility clause. This clause addresses how debts incurred during the marriage will be handled. Will each party be responsible for their own debts, or will liabilities be shared? This should cover joint assets as discussed earlier. This is particularly important if one partner has significant pre-marriage debt or is planning to take on debt during the marriage. In Singapore, a prenuptial agreement can set clear boundaries to prevent one party from being unfairly burdened with the other party's financial obligations. So there you have it, the top 5 most important clauses in a prenuptial agreement. Having these clauses can provide both parties with security and peace of mind. Remember, a prenup isn't just about planning for the worst, it's about protecting your future together. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more legal insights. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.